Hello and welcome to TelecomTV. I'm Martyn Warwick. We're here at the TMF show in Nice in France on a lovely early summer's day, and I'm talking with Manish Singh, who is Vice President Product Management, SDN and NFV with Tech Mahindra. Manish, good to see you. Thanks for the time. I'd like to begin by asking you this. There's a lot of talk about vendor neutrality and vendor agnosticism in regard to NFV and SDN. How true are those claims, do you think?
Well, I think if you look from a SDN and NFV perspective, and if you look what the CSP's broader vision is to really achieve at-scale virtual infrastructure, right, where they can bring in different kinds of network functions from different vendors, and that they can onboard those VNFs rapidly. They can chain them and create different kinds of services rapidly. I think it is absolutely critical that they also at the same time then have vendor neutral system integrators who can bring the capabilities, the scale, the speed that they will need to enable the CSPs to bring different pieces of the puzzle, be able to put them together, be able to integrate them together at scale, at speed, and yet be vendor neutral, enabling the CSPs so that then they can go and pick and choose VNFs from different vendors as they like. Form, fit, function, cost, put the attributes, what you like, go pick it, and yet have a vendor neutral, vendor agnostic system integrator who can put it all together. That's what we as Tech Mahindra see, that's going to be critical for taking the NFV SDN technologies to the next step.
Given what you've just been saying, Manish, what is your appreciation of the state of the SDN and NFV market now? Is there real traction there? Is it beginning to be applied and used? How far along the continuum are we?
Well, I mean, when I think about SDN and NFV market, I'd like to, and the stages of it, I'd like to break it into 3 stages. I mean, starting from initiation, where the CSPs put together the white paper in 2012, we had the ETSI-SIG form that initiated. And then we went into the ideation phase, where a number of proof of concepts were being developed, number of componentry that were being developed by different vendors in the ecosystem. And we've been through that ideation phase in the last couple of years. And I think the step 3 now is about integration. Take all these componentry, these ideation proof of concepts that have happened, and now integrate them in real networks at scale with speed. And what that really entails is, if you look at the network infrastructure today, it's mostly physical. So it's all built around PNLs, you have physical network functions, and now you're going to onboard and integrate virtual network functions onto this.
Yep.
And this really brings the need for system integrators who bring that scale, who bring that speed, who bring the capabilities, who have the telecom pedigree, and bring all of that together and enable the CSPs to pick and choose, be able to integrate. And I think that's where the industry is now headed to.
Okay. Now, we're speaking, you and I, here on the Côte d'Azur in Nice in the south of France at TMF. TMF has always, in the past, been very heavily focused on back office functions like BSS and OSS. Tell us what Tech Mahindra is doing here at the event, at the show.
Well, at the TM Forum here, we actually just brought to light our Catalyst project that we did in partnership with IBM. And we have 3 major CSP sponsors coming from 3 different continents: AT&T, Orange, and KDDI. They were our champions in TM Forum for this Catalyst project.
So sorry to interrupt. So you've got somebody representing North America, you've got somebody representing Japan and the Far East, and you've got somebody representing Europe.
Absolutely, and we call it the Dream Team. And our Catalyst project is what we call it. It's recover first, resolve next, and it's about closed loop control for zero touch orchestration, operation, and management for 2 use cases that we're showing here. One is on fault management, and the other one is on SLA management. So that's a mouthful. Let's break it into pieces.
Sure.
Fault management. when you move from physical to virtual worlds and you look at the solution stack, you have server farms, commodity servers, commodity switch fabric, and you're onboarding different VNFs. You have virtualized infrastructure managers, orchestrators, VNF managers, so on and so forth. The fault could happen at any point in the whole layer. Your server could go down, your switch could go down, your VNF manager could go down. How do you detect the fault, number one? Number two, how do you recover from the fault? So we are actually showing that use case here at TM Forum, where we are actually detecting faults and then doing VM migration and recovering from the fault in a closed loop control automated way. And here's the key. No human intervention required in that whole recovery process. And why that's important? Because everybody wants to talk about SDN and NFV in the context of CapEx and OpEx. CapEx is well understood. Well, in order to get to that OpEx, we need to minimize and eliminate human intervention where possible. So that's one example in terms of fault management. The second use case we have is on SLA management. So again,
sorry, I was going to say to you, SLAs surely now are becoming much more problematical in a virtualized world, because how do you measure it? How do you go about it?
That's right, and very well put there, Martyn. Because what you have in the old world of physical network functions, where the software and the hardware, everything was tightly integrated in a box. You understood the performance characterizations, you understood what the capabilities, the scale-ups, the feeds and speeds that could be delivered. Now, as we decouple the software from the hardware, we put these virtualized VMs on commodity servers. How do you measure performance, and how do you actually achieve SLAs and deliver service assurance? So what we've done in our Catalyst project, another use case, where we've taken our virtualized EPC reference implementation from Tech Mahindra, and we're showing that you're measuring KPIs and KQIs, key quality indicators, across the entire stack of the NFV. And we're constantly measuring it. And when we see that there is a SLA breach on a particular quality indicator, we initiate a closed loop recovery. And we actually are showing it here on TM Forum, where we then, in an automated way, scale out and add more capacity, and to ensure that you come back and meet the SLAs that the operators would have signed up.
So this is what you mentioned earlier, Manish, which is recover first, and what was the second part of it?
Resolve
afterwards. Resolve
That's
next.
right.
Got
That's
it.
right.
Okay,
Yes.
Makes good sense. I'd like to ask you a final question now, if I could, which is about NFV and SDN, particularly really focusing on NFV. In your opinion, your experience, do CSPs get NFV properly? Do they fully understand the benefits that accrue from its use? And do they understand the complications and perhaps obstacles that can be put in its way in terms of the required changes in process and structure within the organization?
I think my view is the CSPs absolutely understand the benefits of NFV. And I think this is clearly, you can see that there is a lot of market pull from the CSPs asking for this technology. As I said, from initiation, in terms of white paper, at SIG formation, so on and so forth, there's been a lot of pull and heavy lifting that the CSPs has been doing. So my take is they absolutely understand that the value and the benefits that it brings. And the benefits are, it's clearly from a CapEx perspective, there are benefits. More importantly, there are OpEx benefits to be had. And OpEx benefits at scale that's going to change the way they've been doing the business. But last but not the least is the agility and the ability to then launch new services. And the CSPs understand that they have to do that. Because in the new world of communications, it's not CSP to CSP. The competitive landscape has changed and changed materially. It is CSPs to CSPs competing against each other, but more importantly, competing against over the top, competing against the web scale properties. And that shift is making it absolutely a necessity for these CSPs to change that. Now, that said, I don't want to trivialize the challenge as well. And to your question in terms of the changes, there are going to be changes required across the board, from processes, to organizational structures, to even capabilities, right? This is a more software-centric, virtualized world where, yes, you need to understand the network and the networking capability, but a lot more capabilities around software as well, right?
Yeah.
So those are all the changes that need to be brought together. And as I shared with you, I mean, a simple thing of SLA, right? I shared, right?
Yeah.
In the physical world was understood, virtualized world, it's a different ball game. It requires different capabilities. And those are the changes in the process and the capabilities that the CSPs have to go through in order to bring this at scale.
Well, very interesting, Manish, to hear from practical implementation side of things rather than pure theory to start with. And yeah, fascinating stuff. Thank you very much for coming to talk to us. Manish Singh, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity. It was a pleasure.